Hey guys, what's up? Okay, so I got a couple of things to update you guys on or, you know, inform you guys on, but I'm not getting into that. I'm saving that for the end of the video. Let's just get right into this topics because I got other things I need to do today. Don't have much time, so let's just go on with this. So it's not as if what I'm about to talk about is only just now being discussed. We've been hearing inklings of this before. I've heard the statement being made before, but recently I heard it again and it just kind of made me grit my teeth. So now I'm going to talk about it. And it's this basic notion that the Second Amendment of the Constitution was put in there so that the public would be able to have a militaristic check against their government should it turn tyrannical. It's a check and balances measure to make sure that just in case the government goes bad, the people would be able to be armed enough to overthrow it or go against it. That's the right-wing interpretation of the Second Amendment. And it's a stupid fucking position to take. Now, I will admit, when I first heard this a couple of years back, I heard this from some people who were not necessarily right-wing, like radically right-wing, and they were, pissed off at some of the BS with the government. And so was I. And when I first heard the statement, yeah, I'll admit I did kind of fall for it. But then I started doing some thinking. Because that's this thing I do. It's an annoying thing that gets in the way. I start to think about stuff. And not only that, I remembered something kind of important, which had me reassess that whole position. And the thing that I remembered was American history. But that pesky little thing gets in the way sometimes when dealing with, radical or ridiculous statements like the Second Amendment was made so that the people could check the government. It gets shown to me over and over and over again that if it's one thing that these so-called patriots don't know, it's their own fucking history. They do not know American history at all. They only know a superficial, propagandized bullshit version of it. They don't really know their history well at all. They're very ignorant of it. Because if they did know it, they wouldn't say stupid shit like that. But in case you guys are wondering what it is about American history which makes me reject that position that the Second Amendment was made to have a check on the government, and in case people don't know what that amendment is, and if you're living in this country, I don't know how you don't, considering how much attention it's been getting lately, the Second Amendment is the right to bear arms. And the statement basically says that that right is given to citizens so that they would be able to form their own militia. Now, if you look at the wording, it's pretty strict. I mean, there's nothing in there that says that the reason why we're giving you these guns is so that you will be able to fight against the government should you need it. But, these people say, no, it's implied. Really. Let's take a step back. The first thing that reminds me that these people don't know shit about American history is that they seem to forget that the Constitution was not the first document written which was going to govern this country, which would basically house the laws and the rights that people are supposed to have in this country. The Constitution was not the first. It was the Articles of Confederation. They always forget that. It's because the Constitution to them is like the missing chapter of the Bible or some shit. They always put that document up on high, like it's the greatest freaking thing ever written. Never mind the fact that the reason why it's been amended so many times is because it wasn't a perfect freaking document, but I digress. It was not the first. And the reason why they had to go on to the Constitution for the Articles of Confederation is because the Articles of Confederation wasn't able to do something that the Constitution was able for them to do. It provided them with something that they didn't have beforehand. They wouldn't have switched to the Constitution if the Articles of Confederation was already up to snuff, at least for the needs of the people running the country at the time. And what was that provision, you may ask? What was the one thing that the Constitution had that the Articles of Confederation didn't have? What was it that it granted them that, that the Constitution granted them that the Articles couldn't? A stronger federal government. And gee, why would they want a stronger federal government? To keep order. See, something happened around that time period that made the founding fathers go, shit, we need to keep these people in line. They're starting to get kind of rebellious against us. Let's go back to when Articles of Federation was reformed and there was trouble brewing in Massachusetts. The war was over, and now it's time to pay debts. See, wars are expensive. People seem to forget that. Military, campaigns, whether it's defensive or offensive, whether it's exploratory, whether it's empire building, whatever. When you start wars, they cost money, and the cost builds up fast. Now, the Revolutionary War may have only been a few years, but it adds up fast. So now it's time to pay for this shit. What do? Where you get the money from? You ain't going to get it from England. You just broke ties with them. France is looking for money. You kind of owe them. Spain, well, they're too busy licking their wounds from the wars that they've been having with England. Where the fuck are you going to get your money from? I mean, yeah, you're trying to make diplomatic ties with France. Maybe you're trying to get some, but money's tight. You need to get it from somewhere. Well, what about your own people? It's time to tax the shit out of them. You're in a post-war economy. Depression's coming in. You need to get the cash from somewhere. Time to start milking your own people, which is exactly what they did. And the people didn't like that because in places like Massachusetts, especially Massachusetts, the taxes were so freaking high, people weren't able to make ends meet. And when they weren't able to meet these debts and these taxes, guess what? They lost their land. They lost their property. Now, you got to remember that these people happen to have been veterans of the Revolutionary War. They're the ones who actually did the fighting. There's all this talk about, George Washington and Thomas Jefferson and Benjamin Franklin, the founding fathers in the Revolutionary War, making great heroes out of these guys, but they seem to forget that very few of them actually ever fired a shot. Washington was in the war, yeah, but he was used to wars, and he was known as a guy who did pretty well militarily. Benjamin Franklin, he wasn't on the front line. Thomas Jefferson, hell no. These assholes were not on the front lines, okay? They were busy, away from there, chilling in their beds, at home, nice and warm. They weren't out there, busy having to duck musket fire and trying to reload their own shit while shots are coming in and the redcoats are coming to slaughter them. They weren't in the middle of that. It was the regular people fighting the wars. And after that war was over, they basically were treated like shit by the higher-ups. The higher-ups didn't think that they deserved a share of the spoils, even though they told these people that you're free now. You gotta remember, America, this was an exciting time to be in this country because there's all this vast land that is yet to be explored. Sure, you gotta kill the Indians for it. Not that that would stop them. But you have all this land and all these resources and all this potential to make money. So when America was, founded, everyone's thinking, wow, we broke away from England, so we don't gotta share all the shit with them anymore. We can do it for ourselves. This is a great time to live here. We can, get our own land, farm on it if we don't feel like exploring. Or if we do feel like exploring, we can build up a plantation, sell tobacco, sell cotton, whatever, and get it made. Not exactly. If you weren't part of the higher class, your money-making scheme, nah, you're not really in the club. And certain people, like John Adams in particular, didn't even think that these people deserved a share in the country. They're like the rabble. Fuck these people. They're not one of us, distinguished gentlemen. They're not well learned. They're not of the high. What the fuck are these? They don't even own capital. What the fuck do these people think they are? They're lucky we even give them a pittance of a little bit of land to get in the first place. That was his attitude. Many of their attitudes are like that. Kind of funny how not much has changed. This, just to go on a tangent, is one of the reasons why I keep saying if people really want to change the situation, they have to change the way they think and the way they look at the world before they can actually do anything. For all this talk about, we're breaking away from tyranny and the monarchy and, our men are free men. These people were still thinking like nobility. The higher ups, like, we're the elites. And since they were still thinking in that framework like they were nobles or something, yeah, you may have taken the king and the monarch side of the equation. You may say that you're in a republic now of free individuals, but they really weren't thinking that way. They still felt holier than thou when it came to the common individual. So their paradigm had not shifted. The way they thought had not changed. You may have changed the name of your system. You may have put a couple of new rules, but you still use it in the old way, which was a way of we're up here and you're down there. And you're basically there to help prop me up. And that hasn't really changed in this country. Which is why you see some of the ridiculous shit these days of rich people who already have everything still thinking that they need to take more from the poor and basically think the poor are leeching off of the system. They're not the ones getting corporate handouts, assholes. They're not the ones who are able to do whatever the fuck they want and pay no taxes for it. But I'm going off on a tangent. The farmers in Massachusetts were not happy with what was going on. They fought this war. They did what was asked of them. And in return, they get to lose their land, being told that they really didn't deserve to have a share in what was going on. They were being taxed out the ass, which is ironic when you think about it. What was the war supposedly fought for again? So, a guy named Shea decided enough was enough. He and several other people decided that they weren't going to take it anymore. They grabbed their guns, started forming their own rebellious militias, and started raising game throughout Massachusetts. Scared the power structure to death. Now, remember, this was during under the Articles of Confederation. The federal government really wasn't all that strong, and you couldn't exactly call on the federations like, damn it, can you please send the federal army down here to squash this rebellion? Nah, you couldn't do that back then. It was up to the state to defend its own goddamn self. And they were having a hard time doing that. It took a private army to squash this rebellion. The state was weak. It took a private army. Privately run army to finally squash this rebellion. And the few people who escaped after that one skirmish when they were trying to take over a certain federal outpost, there's a certain area with munitions and stuff like that they were trying to take over. They weren't able to get their hold on it because the private army made it there first, fired a couple of shots. At least 4 or 5 guys died, and they all ran for the hills. And and then after that, it was pretty much just clean up over the next few weeks, so months. So, but they were able to squash the rebellion. Now, while all this was going on, there was already talk about we really need to reform our governing laws. These articles are not cutting it. And this rebellion was really getting people to say that shit, this isn't working. We really need to find a way to keep these people in line. They're shooting at us now. It was one thing we were able to use them to shoot at the enemy, the people who were keeping us from making the money we wanted to make. Now they're coming at us. We don't want to share this shit. They're coming at us. We need to do something. But the only founding father I can think of who wasn't really having that attitude was Jefferson, interestingly enough. He was like, rebellion's good for you every now and then. I forgot the exact line, but it was basically like, a strong republic of liberty is born with the blood of tyrants and martyrs. I don't know the exact quote, but it was pretty much like, this shit's going to happen, these people are there to keep you in check. That was his attitude. They weren't buying that argument. They weren't buying that stance. And so, in Philadelphia, they finally created the Constitution, which gave the federal government stronger powers to be able to intervene when states were in crisis, among other things. Now, at this point, those of you who already have the gears working in your head, those of you who have brains, could already see why, once with all that context, with all that historical context I just stated, why stating that the Second Amendment was made for the people to go up against the government. Now, you realize that it's bullshit. But for those of you who don't get it, I'll ask a simple question. Why, after a rebellion in Massachusetts scared you half to death about armed insurrections, why, after it took a private army to be able to squash this, and why, after this was treated like it was a crisis, why then in your new document would you put in a clause to make it easy for people to be able to continue to do this sort of thing? Why would you give carte blanche to rebellions to people who think that their government is running wild? Because you saw what happened. These people didn't like what was going on. They formed armed insurrection. They got punished for it. And now you're going to create a document saying that that's okay? I know for the right-wing extreme nuts, I know thinking is hard. I know it hurts, but you're going to have to do it if you want to stop looking like idiots. Pick up a historical text and fucking read it. Or look, you're in front of the computer right now. You have any idea how much historical information is at your fingertips? You can look this shit up. And no, don't look this shit up in a freaking propaganda site or some bullshit right-wing site. Look up, just cut and dry, pure, researched material. Read that shit about your country and its laws before you start saying dumb shit about, oh, the Second Amendment was made so that we can, in case we have to go fight against our government. Really? This document was made after they just put down a rebellion. And the reason why it was put together is because they felt the federal government wasn't strong enough to put down these rebellions. Hell, they had another one later on, the Whiskey Rebellion. And at that point, the federal government was able to do something about it. Think! No, yeah, they don't think, they don't research, they don't read. At least they don't read the shit that they should be reading. They read propaganda, they watch garbage, they listen to idiots. And so they'll say dumb shit like that. But all you have to do is just think. Historical context is something that people don't seem to have when they start talking about the past or what this country's supposed to be about. So you hear dumb shit like the Second Amendment is put down government, or this country was founded on Christian values. Dumb shit like that because they don't know shit about their own country. They don't know the history. It continues to amaze and amuse me that the son of Haitian immigrants knows a hell of a lot more about these fuckers' history than these idiots do. Yeah, I'm proud to be an American. My father's American. Yeah, but they don't know shit about their country. They don't do the research. And we live in an age where the information is right in front of them. If they're watching this video right now and getting all angry and pissed off, keep in mind that not a single one of them is then going to verify this information. They're just going to get mad because it goes against their worldview. They're not going to actually, wait a minute, does he have a point? Let me look this shit up. Holy shit, there was a Shays Rebellion. Oh, wow. And then there was debate afterwards. Hell, historians are still debating about the effects of, this rebellion on the forming of the Constitution. All this has been going on without me knowing. Yeah, of course it's been going on without you knowing because you've been busy listening to other shit. This is yet another reason why I cannot take these yahoos seriously. I just can't. They don't know anything. I mean, it's one thing if they're like using information and interpreting it in a different way, and then that's where the debate comes in. But it's not even about that. They seriously don't know shit about what they don't know. They seriously don't know what the fuck they're talking about. How am I supposed to respect that? I mean, it'd be one thing if it's like you're interpreting something in history that you actually know what happened, but it's somewhat unclear. So you kind of like debate on what impact it may have today or how it was interpreted because no one really knows. There weren't enough documents. People start interpreting this or figuring out that, coming up with different hypotheses about it. Yeah, that things get interesting. Then you say like that's an interesting point of view. I don't necessarily agree, but you got a point. It's not. You can't even have that. They don't know shit about their government. What the fuck am I supposed to say when I hear somebody saying shit like this and there's no historical basis for it? It's all I can do to not slap them. Because remember, these are people who are adults. They go to work. They pay bills. They should know this shit already. And now this is turning into a rant, so I think at this point this video is over. But I'm pretty sure you guys get my point. This is another reason why the people in this country piss me off. They don't know shit. For a bunch of people who are all patriotic about their country, they sure don't seem to know anything about it, or how it was formed, or what the historical context is and some of the things that they're saying and how this country is acting today. They don't know shit. They don't read this stuff. They don't research this stuff. Or they forgot the little bit that they picked up in school. If they even got it in school at all. You can't have a conversation with people this dumb. You seriously cannot have any serious discussion with people this far removed from the reality and the historical, truth of their country. And as angry as that statement I'm sure is going to make them, it's like, well, did you know about any of the shit I just talked about? Did it even enter your mind when you say dumb shit about what the Second Amendment is supposedly about? Or what values form this country? Anyway, that's it. I need to finish tweaking this stuff and then go to bed because I got work again. 60-hour work week still. Anyway, enough of that. Catch you guys later. Oh yeah, that's right. I said that I was going to have updates and stuff at the end of this video, and well, we're at the end, so Here we go. Number 1. As I promised under Skull's video, which was critiquing the spin move that I did in my Chinese sword video, which if you guys haven't seen it, check it out. I think you may like it if you're into martial arts and might learn something interesting. Yes, I just as that statement, I just as I said under his video, I do plan on making a response to his response. I just can't do it today or tomorrow. This weekend is booked solid. I just have too much work to do. This week, however, I'm going to be able to do it. I'm going to be doing it with my wife, though, rather than my friend Nick. Just like me, Nick has a lot going on. I was lucky to get him to help me out with that, you know, when I did. We've been hoping to do videos like that for the longest time now. And we're hoping to do some more in the future. It's just right now things are crazy. I was lucky to get him in here when I did. But I'm hoping to do more videos with him because there's a lot that we got a lot of plans for, you know, for showing stuff off. In the meantime, it's just going to be me and my wife. But, you know, we should still be able to talk about what I want to talk about. What do I want to talk about in that video? Well, that would be telling. All I will say is that I agree with Skull, but at the same time, I somewhat disagree with him. And you'll see why. And this is with me stating that I don't think spin moves should be part of your arsenal overall. There's a time and a place for them, and even then, well, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'll talk about it in the video. Next, Dark Souls. And yes, I already know March 11th is really soon. It's almost upon us. You probably aren't going to be seeing me for like a year once that Dark Souls 2 comes out. No, I'm just kidding. I know you guys are like, I'm making videos again, and all of a sudden I'm going to disappear for another year. I'm pretty sure that will piss you guys off, especially those of you who've been with me for a long time. No, I'm still going to keep on pouring out videos. In fact, expect a lot more as time goes on because I'm going to have a lot more time. But speaking about Dark Souls 2, of course, leads us to Dark Souls 1. And now that I got this new machine, you guys are probably wondering, oh, when I'm going to start putting up Dark Souls 1 videos. Yes, I plan to for 2 reasons, even though Dark Souls 2 is coming out. One, I did promise to show off some of the tougher spots and how to get through them. I promised a couple of people that. And besides, just because Dark Souls 2 is coming out doesn't mean I'm not going to play Dark Souls 1. I still play Demon Souls, for God's sake. So, but right now I'm having a little bit of trouble with Dark Souls 1 on this new machine. Not running it. It runs great on this machine. This runs way better than my old machine. I got my settings at max, and it's not even stuttering. The problem is I can't seem to record it. I was using Hypercam with the last computer when I was recording footage, and I know some people say Hypercam, but believe it or not, you set it up right, you can get some pretty good recordings off of it. So I got Hypercam again, especially since these days it's free, and I really wasn't able to get any footage, which perplexed me because the way I used to do it when I was using XP, I'm using Windows 7 now. When I was using my old machine on XP, I would have Dark Souls on full screen. I would set up Hypercam to record. Even though it was at full screen, it kind of expands a window first, and I knew what dimensions it was actually at. So I would set Hypercam to record at those particular dimensions on the screen, the resolution on there, and then start recording, and it would be perfect. Just, no borders or nothing. It would catch it and catch all my footage, and that was that. And the only problems I was having was finding a decent codec to record it at a decent frame rate that wouldn't chug on my machine and at the same time would be smooth enough to watch. That was the balance I was having to play. But I had found a really cool codec. I think it was called the Logarith codec. Hold on for a second. Let me find it. Oops. Where is it? Oops. That's not it. I'll put it in the freaking video description, but I think it was called the Logarith codec. It supposedly records at high-ass resolution. I mean, yeah, your film files are going to be in the freaking gigabytes, but it would be, no loss in frame rate, no loss in graphic fidelity. It was a lossless codec. So I wanted to record that and then, upload that to YouTube. It would be fantastic. And now that I got a computer that was strong enough to use it, because the XP one couldn't, my older machine could not, the graphics card was not strong enough. This one definitely could. So I was going to use that. And first I ran into the problem of, well, it's not recording full screen. What the fuck? And then I found out that supposedly Hypercam 2 cannot record games at full screen. It has a problem with DirectX games. So I'm like, but I was able to do it with XP. Why can't I do it? So I said, fine. I put the game in windowed mode and recorded, and I was able to record. except when I played it back, everything ran at lightning fast speed. The footage was sped up, which really annoyed the shit out of me because this codec supposedly was supposed to solve that problem. I don't know what's going on, so I'm going to have to play around a little bit before I can get this so I can record what I'm doing again. And I need time to do it, and right now I don't have the time. Hopefully, like I said, this week's going to open up so I can really go hardcore and trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. But yeah, and another weird thing is the sound isn't recording right. Like it's recording me. It's not recording the sound in the game. My old machine, it would do that. I do know what the problem is on that, though. I just need to tweak my sound settings because my old machine, I had tweaked it so that it would record the sounds coming from the computer, you know. And the reason why I set it up that way to begin with was because of the show that I used to do called Righteous Heathens. We would do everything on Skype, and I would need to find a way to record everything off of the sound the computer was giving off. I didn't want it recording the noise coming out the speakers. I wanted to record everything internally. And I set up, you know, my sound settings so it could do that. I haven't done it on this machine yet. That's what I need to do. That's because, you know, right now it's just recording everything externally. I needed to record internally as well as externally. So I just got to go to the sound settings and fuck with it. And that shouldn't be too hard. It's just right now the whole sped up frame rate thing, which is pissing me off. I mean, you know, the video popped up. I'm like, oh my God, everything looks good. Why is everything moving at lightning speeds? I mean, I could fix it in post by just simply slow it down, but why? That's just extra work. I'd rather just record right the first time, and the only thing I need to edit in is me talking over it. So that's what's going on with that. This little update, I didn't expect these updates to take this long. Sorry about that. But yeah, that's what's going on. That's what I'm planning. I do plan on having some Dark Souls 1 stuff. Dark Souls 2 stuff, you're going to have to wait because I'm getting it from my PlayStation 3. I'm not getting it from my computer. Maybe down the line I will. But right now I'm getting it from my PlayStation 3, and I do not have a video capture card, guys. I plan on getting one sooner or later, but right now I just do not have one. So, and I'm sorry, I'm not going to be holding my phone up or use this webcam to record off the screen. I hate videos like that where someone's showing game footage, but it's like they literally got a camera in front of their TV and you got to watch it that way. Come on, this is the year 2014. If you can't do it right, don't do it. And I'm not going to do it wrong. So, I'm sorry, you're not really going to be getting any Dark Souls 2 footage from me right now. Until I get I'm going to buy myself a video capture card, probably a portable one. The Hallpog portable is looking nice to me, but I got to put the money together for that. I blew most of my money on this beast. So, all right, enough of that. Like I said, I got stuff to do, so catch you guys later.